Hello everyone, this is Diane. We are in my kitchen. I am going to coffee dye some paper. I have not dyed paper or anything in over a year, I'm sure. Well over a year, because I've lived here for a year longer and I haven't dyed anything since I've been here. But I'm at my kitchen counter. This is my long food prep counter, and I removed my canisters and some other things. So I have space to spread out here. This is just the cheapest brand of coffee I could get at Walmart. Just instant coffee. This is hot water in this pan that I only use for this purpose. I used to use it for lasagna. So I'll just put some coffee in there, let it melt. I'm not putting gloves on. My hands are going to be stained. And then I will move things around. This water's pretty hot. I'll move things around and set up better, but I wanted you to just see you don't have to do anything other than just dump it in and mix it up a little bit. So what I have are, this is what is my top priority, is staining these 12 by 12 papers that I'm going to put in my woodlands journals. So these will get darker, they will be stained, but I wanted to do the white, of course, but I'm going to stain all of it. But I also have, these have been stored in here all this time, some tickets, some tags, index cards, some other things that I wanted to dye, and just some paper. We're going to play around with color, and I forgot to bring my inks upstairs, so I'm going to have to do that at some point because I wanted to play with some inks. So all right, I'm gonna go downstairs and grab some stuff and set this workstation up, and then we will begin. Well, I came back and I started talking, turned the camera back on and started talking, but I didn't hit record. So I have my coffee dye here in the middle, and I have paper towels set up on both sides. I've got some sprays, inks, and even some RIT dye, and some vintage dye powders that I got at the flea market. I thought I could sprinkle them on some of the wet paper and see what happens. I'm not doing anything special to the 12 by 12 papers because I'm going to be stamping on those. So I have one of my 12 by 12 papers on a cookie sheet, that's an old cookie sheet that's just for this purpose, and there's space at the edge here, so I'm dyeing some tickets to add here, and they come apart when they're wet. I've never dyed tickets before, but I have these white tickets, and I have the oven turned on to 350, and I know that is a high temperature, but I don't leave the room. I just go back and forth. I was saying how once I get in the full flow with things in the oven and me pulling them out of the oven, I'm just making a circuit between this and the paper towels and the oven. So I'm going to put this in. I do have 3 racks in this oven. Thought I turned the oven on, but it wasn't on. So it is now. I'll just leave these out here. So I just put my papers on paper towels to drain off some of the water, and a lot of times they get the pattern from the paper towel on them, and that's fine. But I'm laying these face down, so you probably won't see the pattern on those. I have the plain side facing up. Okay, and I have 2 more 12 by 12s to dye. And then we'll get to have some fun with some of the inks and see what happens. I guess I'll have to move things so that I can move this away from the camera and put paper here so you can watch what happens when I add sprays and stuff. So I'm going to put a couple of these tags in, and some index cards. These are grid index cards. And I can put some more papers on a tray. So I'm going to use this one. Got lots of space here. I could try some of the sprays on the tickets just to see what happens. I have this Vintage Photo Distress Oxide spray. It's kind of dark. That's okay. There, they shared. And maybe a little of this peeled paint. Oh. Okay. Putting this in the oven. Take these things out. And when I'm all done doing this, when I clean up this space, I make sure I wipe the counters from any splatters and the front of my cupboards from drips. These they look like a terracotta tile, so I'm not worried about staining. Okay, that's everything. Now I'm going to add some of the copy paper. And you can put some more paper on a tray. If you overlap papers, either on the paper towels or on the trays, they will leave a line, which I don't mind. I just took this out of the oven. It's still a little damp, and I think the tickets are probably still wet. So I'm going to put it back in for a few minutes. Now the oven wasn't hot when I put that in because it wasn't turned on. So it's heating up now, so everything will happen a lot faster. I'm going to move this onto the paper towel. And I'm going to take this out of view of the camera so that I can move papers here and we can spray on them. I'm going to get that paper back out of the oven. That's nice, and these are nice. And if they're a little damp, I get them out anyway. They'll dry real fast. So then I just start a pile somewhere of all this stuff, and I sort it out later. It's kind of strange trying to adjust to a new setup because, like I said, I've never done it in this kitchen before. But I think it's going to be nice because this counter is bigger than anything I've had to work on. Maybe just one. Got to be careful because that's a hot pan. You can see the steam coming off it when I put the wet paper on it. If I feel like they're baking too fast, I can turn the oven down if I can't keep up. The tickets are dry, paper's not quite. Sorry for the noise. I want to play on some of these wet papers before. Look, I think I set the edge of that paper down, pan on it, so it made a mark on it. That's cool. I want to spray these before while they're still wet. Not these, but the smaller ones. Just trying to get these out of my way. Okay. Now, where are the small ones? There's one. Still in the pan. Stuck to itself. Okay, it's got a tear in it, but that's okay. Okay, so I have two 8.5 by 11 papers here. I want to try something like dropping some of this ink on. I don't use this. I got this on clearance at Hobby Lobby for $1.50 a few years ago. So let's just play with it. And it's got a dropper too. Oh, what happened? There. That's going to be grungy. And I'll spray some of this mustard seed on it. Oh, that's bright. And maybe I'll drop a little of this green. It's bright. Let's see what happens. I gotta get paper out of the oven. I turned the oven down to 300 because I'm trying to do too much at once. All right, I'm gonna just take some coffee water and sprinkle it on here on that bright green. There, that's better. So this is going to be very grungy paper. This is just a watercolor, food coloring spray that I made. So it's very pale. It's not even showing up. But I kind of wanted it to thin out some of this color, but that's okay. It's fine. I can put it here to blot off some of it. Because those papers that I made before that are in the journal are pretty grungy. Oh, that's good. I like that. So I can bake that just as it is. Let's, just for fun, try sprinkling some of this powder. See what colors we have. This is silver gray. I do have an apron on, just so you know. Garnet, bronze green, medium brown, myrtle green, garnet, and just green. Let's try the bronze green. I want to see what that's like. I wonder how old this stuff is. I should have brought my water bottle, spray water up here. I think I'll go down and get it. Oh, come on. Guess we'll just wait and see what that dye does. I thought it would diffuse, like melt and spread out. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the oven. So I think I'll save those powders and just use them dissolved in water. Now, as I add paper to this paper towel, the papers will absorb some of this color, which will be fun. I don't know where the little pieces went. They got moved. So I'm going to layer this, and there will be a line. Here's one of the little pieces. Oh, here's some tags. Okay, well, we better get some more papers in here. I'm gonna leave it over here so we can play here. So I'm putting in 3 pieces of 8.5 by 11 paper. And I'm gonna add some tags. These are different tags. And more of the index cards. And look at my nails with that dye. That's gonna stay. Oh dear. Okay, let's get this out of the way so I don't add more color to it. I have 4 trays available, and I can put 3 in the oven at once. So this one is on standby. This is still a little damp, but it's done enough. I'm going to take it out now. Might as well put another one on it. Put one of these index cards on it. I have one more 8.5 by 11 here. And this one I think I'll just spray with Distress Oxide Vintage Photo. And a little water. taking the tags out and putting them on this other side of the pan. Now these tags have strings, so if I let the string lay on the tag, it would have a white mark there, which I've done before. I'm going to try not to this time. But now the strings are also dyed. Guess I should have worn gloves. Here's a paper we can play on. And I'll put some more in. And I will check the oven. After we play with these, I'll probably stop the video and just finish on my own. And let me show you this. This is one of the 9x12, and it got ink on it. It might be from my fingers, like fingerprints, but I think it is so cool. And on this one too, it's got some marks. But like I said, I'm going to be stamping on them, and it does have a little bit of the pattern from that tray, but that's fine. It'll just add to the layered look. I'm gonna load up my trays. I guess I better do some spraying before I put these on the tray. I was wondering about adding some of this. I don't know what would happen if I did. It's pretty dark. It needs to be diluted, so I guess I won't do that. I get a backache when I do this. Anything where I stand up for too long, like doing something like this, washing dishes, anything like that, I get a backache. Okay, so let's see. Let's try spraying with mustard seed. Was that the really bright one? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to spray it up high. Just little splatters. That's good. And some of this green. And some vintage photo. Okay, I'm going to stop the video here, and I will come right back to show you all my finished papers. I'm back down in my studio now, and I want to show you the results of what I dyed yesterday. So I did all these tags, and they all come out in various shades and with markings on them because of the sprays I was playing with. Now these I didn't spray directly, but they got caught in a crossfire or something, and I love it. This one has a pattern from that one tray. And they're different front and back. I love the pattern on this back. Look at that. How pretty. I'm going to have to... These weren't slated to go in the Tale of the Squirrel journals, but I'm going to have to put a couple of these in. And then the grid index cards, and this was the kind of ink on the grid that didn't run. Sometimes I like it when it runs on paper that I dye, because it just turns a pretty bluish green and looks all smeary and lovely. But I'm glad this didn't run. It's just a white card. And then these tags I didn't worry too much about where the strings were, so you can see it's very pale, but there's a white streak where a neighboring string was laying on it. That pattern looks pretty cool. So they're fun. And then I did a bunch of tickets, and I did spray some of them, as you saw on the video. So these are the sprayed ones. I love how they turned out. And plus they're on that tray that leaves the marks. I love them. Very grungy. And the papers. I did 8.5 by 11. That one was pretty brown. I did a lot of brown spraying on that. These kind of things are unexpected. I think it picked it up off the paper towel, maybe. These are the first ones I did, and I put on that powder. You can actually feel the powder. It's coming off. That dye powder. I'll have to just kind of brush that off real good so it doesn't want to keep coming off on things. But I love the back. That's really neat. And I like this side too. Unfortunately, this tore. But that's okay. I can tape it with my vintage tape. And then these are just dyed, not sprayed. And these were dyed and not sprayed. But this, there was some ink on the tray. And it comes through on this side. And some of these papers will be used. Look at that. That's cool. Some of these papers will be used in these journals that I'm making. This looks like corrugated cardboard. It's green. This one has green spray or ink or something on it. And it's newsprint on that side. And I still have my coffee bath upstairs. I don't know if I'm going to try to dye something tomorrow, or maybe I'll just pour the coffee in a spray bottle and put it in the refrigerator. But I did take these scraps of fabric. I had used them for rags. They had dark spots in different colors, so I had used them as rags before in the dyeing process, but I just dunked them in the coffee. Here you can see the spots on this side. These were from using previously. I think they were cloths that I used. I used to use them to cover my dough, bread dough, while it was rising, and I don't know why I used it for rags, because I still, maybe I bought new cloths and these were old ones, because I still make bread. So I just love these. I don't know if they'll get used in these journals, but I have them for future. So thank you for coming along with me as I did the dyeing yesterday. I think I did a little bit of a demo of dyeing before, but not like that, because I didn't know how to edit back then, so I couldn't do much. So I hope you enjoyed it, and if you've never dyed before, without the spraying and all of that extra, that adds a lot of complication to it, a lot of fussing and messy stuff. But if without adding that to it, it's just a very simple thing to dip your papers in coffee and dye them. And you don't even have to bake them. You can put them outside on your porch or on your driveway or something where they can, and put a stone on them so they don't blow away. And of course you can always use the plastic doilies, which I have some, but I didn't mess with them yesterday. plastic doilies to put a pretty pattern on them. So thanks for coming, and I'll be back again with another video working on our Tale of the Squirrel autumnal journals. See you then. Have a creative day. Bye.